Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is Championship Sunday, January 25th, the last Sunday of January, by the way, in 2026, which is bizarre. And while we do have football going on, the hot stove continues to get warmer, so it's nice to be back.
All right. I have the biggest news of the week. Okay, since the Cardinals
Okay.
didn't do anything. And my sister got a bobblehead at her job. She works at an apartment leasing place, and people just drop her stuff off. And I guess someone didn't want this anymore. Look at how cool this is.
That is
It's Lars
fantastic.
Nootbaar, and he has his tongue out.
That is fantastic.
That's sick. I don't know. I'm assuming it was a giveaway because it has a Quick Trip logo
Yes.
on it.
Yes,
But
absolutely a giveaway.
I was thinking I need to find out a way because I have a bunch of stuff like that I just have collected over the years.
Yeah.
I need to find a way to be able to display some of the stuff and have it like in the background. I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you need a shelf, and also like yeah, anything to make it look like you're not in an institution right now would
Yeah.
be good.
Well, it's
So
really bright today too because the snow is reflecting over off my
yeah,
face
sure,
outside right
sure,
there.
sure, sure. It looks like you are literally in a half padded cell. So
Well, we are moving in 6 months, 7 months.
correct. So that's when I would
So
do it. I wouldn't stress about it till then, but then I would set you up an office, which you'll need for law school anyway. So
yeah, and I
there
also
you go.
have I also have a really cool one that's like Jim Edmonds, Albert Pujols, and Scott Rowland MV3, and I need to find a place to put that too.
I've got that one up here too, and I got to figure out a nice. We're moving in like 6 months also, so
What?
you know, yeah, we're gonna get another house I think down here. We're not leaving the city, but
You?
we're gonna.
No one told me that. That's fine.
Well, now you've been told.
All right.
I know that I will get no sympathy from anybody up there as there is snow on the ground and it is cold, but it is supposed to get down into the 20s here, which like that my body is not like after being here for 4 years, my body is not accustomed to 20s, and I am not looking forward to it. So you know what I'm doing for Super Bowl Sunday or Championship Sunday? I'm gonna order some pho from the place right across the way from our house, and that's what I'm gonna have to keep me warm tonight.
I'm gonna have more sympathy for you once I'm in Southern California and I'm warm every
Okay,
day.
that's valid. That's valid. No, it's not, I don't think it's long lived, so it's not too bad. But all right, let's get back to baseball talk. Um, this week we saw some more movement, mainly from the New York teams, it felt like.
Hmm.
Obviously, we are here to talk about the Cardinals, but there was not much happening outside of the prospect list, which is kind of what I wanted to start off with, if you're all right with that.
Hmm.
Um, I think, was it four? Am I counting that right? Were there four guys? Five guys. Okay, that's why I thought I knew that I was one off. Five guys in the top 100 as MLB released their pipeline prospect list. I think that is how they kind of
The
word that.
MLB Pipeline's top 100 list,
There we go. All right, so I was
and
right on it.
they had 9 guys that had votes in the top 150. So
Okay,
that just means they got at least one vote.
right, right, right,
I
right,
think the honorable mentions were Jimmy Crooks because he hasn't fallen off yet in terms of a service time. Um, I'm sure Quinn Matthews got a vote. I'm sure some people are still voting for Teague Hence,
right.
guys like that. But the five that did make the list are Leonardo Bernal, the catcher from Panama, his number 98 on the list. He'll probably, I mean, he might be fighting for a spot to make the team at some point this year. Their catching depth is really deep, so maybe not, but he's at least going to be
Yeah.
in the conversation. Joshua Baez is at number 87. I've seen some lists that had him as high as like 35. So he's one of those guys that I think everyone's waiting to see if he repeats what he did last year. And if he does, he'll be a top 50 prospect on every list you look at. Reinel Rodriguez, number 37. He was one of the guys that was not even on anyone's radar last year. I've seen lists with him as high as like 16th. So he's one of those guys as well that some people are way higher on. Liam Doyle's at 34. That seems about right. And then JJ Weatherholt at number 5. I've seen lists with Weatherholt at 3. So anywhere from 3 to 5 is where I've seen JJ listed at.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? So he's the number 5th prospect in all of baseball. He's also the number 5th shortstop prospect on that list. Top 5 are all
Yeah,
shortstops.
I know. Well, I mean, I don't remember the original coach who said it, but like one of the college coaches was like, just give me all the shortstops. That's what I think it's the guy Vandy
It's
was like,
LSU. That's
I
LSU's
just,
thing forever.
well, yeah, it has been, but I think Vandy was like, I can't think of the guy's name that Vandy right now. That's the terrible. I can't think of his name, but I think he was like, I just go recruit shortstops and then we figure it out from there. So
Yeah,
that does kind of
I
tell
was
you
thinking about
that.
this. Like teams like Vandy and LSU, I think they both have that model. Like even they recruit mostly shortstops and center fielders sometimes, but
Correct.
mostly shortstops. And sometimes their shortstops will go play center field because they're all freak athletes. I was wondering when the last time those guys those two teams specifically had a shortstop that wasn't drafted. Because if you're the
Yeah.
shortstop of the shortstops, then you're the best.
Well, LSU last year was at no, it was the other. It was a young kid, wasn't it? So I mean, Guidry's been there, Brassey's been there. I
Yeah.
don't know that he got. Yeah, so
Like
I
a
don't know
three
that
or
answer.
4 year, like a 3 year
Yeah,
starting shortstop, like
yeah,
Alex
it's
Bregman, LeMahieu, those guys,
right.
Kramer.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, exactly. Pretty tough.
not relevant, but what I wanted to say, now I'm forgetting. Oh, the team that had the most top 100 prospects were the Seattle Mariners.
Hmm.
And when I looked at it, because they had seven, I was like, the Cardinals and Mariners could just flip flop if we just get this freaking trade done. We could take two of their
Yeah,
top 100, and they could take Donovan, and we would have seven.
great podcasting, as that was the segue into where I kind of wanted to take this was it does sort of appear based on things that you're reading. If you can read between lines, which some of us can and some of us can't, or we just try to when there's no need to. But it does feel like maybe Brendan Donovan is going to be a Cardinal after last week. I said I think he's getting traded, but that also could be a smokescreen. Well, you never know.
Well, the way I always look at things like this is the information that you're given is information that someone wants you to have. You know,
Correct.
like Katie Woo's being told these things. She's not just saying it. Even though she's supposed to be in LA now. Why don't you worry about Kyle Tucker, Katie? Like
Right.
she just keeps talking about Donovan. Come on. Why don't we have an athletic reporter for the Cardinals yet? I hope that happens soon.
Maybe they haven't hired one yet. There you go.
She said they were going. I am not qualified. She said they were going to when she was leaving that they had something in place. I'm hoping that gets announced soon because we don't need less coverage of the Cardinals. I don't think,
Correct.
especially less good coverage, which the Athletic always has. Anyway, I think I anyway, get back to my point. The information you're getting is someone wants you to have that information. Who benefits from you thinking that they might be willing to keep Brendan Donovan? It's
Right.
the Cardinals, right?
Correct.
And to be honest with you, if they're not getting anything close to their value, then they should keep him. I have a hard time believing they're not getting anything close, though.
Right. Right. I
But maybe I'm
agree.
wrong.
And it's just it does seem like and yeah, right, maybe we are wrong and we talked about that like we don't know how other teams perceive you just don't know how they perceive players. But it does seem like Brendan Donovan would fit on a whole bunch of clubs that aren't just like
Every team.
teams that are competing. That's where I was going with that. Like
It fits
that's
on
my
every
point.
team.
Yeah, I agree. But my point is, I think a team that is looking at, hey, we are a potential either repeat World Series person or team that's going to be in the hunt for the World Series, that's a guy who I believe would be a nice missing piece for a lot of teams.
This is a fun exercise. Is there a team in baseball he wouldn't start on?
Probably not. Maybe that, no, probably not.
He'd play over Max Muncy on the Dodgers, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Or you have, yeah, I think he would.
yeah.
They bring very different skill sets, but he would at least play 4 or 5 times a week.
The other thing I would say is the Cardinals, like you're, if I understand that we want what we want for Brendan Donovan, I get that, and I respect that and everything else. But you are also playing a dangerous game of hoping that A, he doesn't get hurt. B, he does have a good year again, which I would assume that he will. But those are,
Or they're not
but
playing that
also
game at
you're when
all.
you get to the trade deadline, you've now really narrowed the amount of teams that you have to trade with. And you've also lost a what, 60%, 70% of your of his retainability, I guess is what I'm looking for there.
Not 60 or 70%. It's like,
August? I mean, that's pretty deep
I
into
mean,
the
he has two
season,
years
bro.
left. So that's like
I know, but I'm saying
40%, 30%.
my point, yeah, I guess okay, that's true. Yeah, 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 yeah. Of the season is what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
you're
But
losing
I
part
get
of the
what you're saying.
season.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I also think maybe that's not true because the teams that are in on him now are the same teams that are expecting to also be in the hunt for players at the deadline.
right,
Like there's
right,
no, the Chicago White Sox aren't in on him right now.
right.
Well, at least I don't
Yeah,
think they are. I don't know. They just signed Sir Anthony Dominguez to a dumb deal, so who knows what they're doing. But I don't know. They also could just be waiting out the offseason. The rumors that are flying right now are that the Giants are really trying to add a bat. Buster Posey seems very. Apparently they have made a hard push at C.J. Abrams, who I like C.J. Abrams a lot, and if you could put him at second base, because that poor guy does not deserve to be playing shortstop anymore. It drove him to gambling, I think. He's
agreed.
really bad at shortstop. Put the guy at second base and let him hit. They offered one of their top prospects for him. The problem is, I think the most aggressive team right now is maybe the not the Orioles, the Giants, and their prospects suck for the most part. So
Yeah,
I think Heim has a couple of teams in mind that he wants to get really interested. And the closer you get to the season, the more the Mariners can probably talk themselves into their young options being fine for now.
right,
When
right. Yeah,
when
that's
you're
gonna
in
be interesting.
December, you don't really play that view, but now you're getting close to spring training. I'm sure they've met with a lot of their prospects, and then that's where you start hyping yourself up about how good their offseason's been.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, what do you think if it doesn't get done in the next 3 to 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe? I don't know that it's going to get done.
So my read last week was that, or I guess was that last week, was that I thought what Heim was saying was that he didn't want this to drag into spring training. Kyle Reese, who has a podcast with Brian Walton called Walton and Reese, Wednesdays with Walton and Reese, which is really good. Go watch it. It's every Wednesday. He said he had a completely different read. He said that he thinks they're if they're in spring training and they get an offer that they want, that they'll take it. So,
Okay,
maybe this becomes a thing where you start looking at spring training, and if a second baseman on one of these teams gets injured, maybe that's the move. Like I just don't
right,
know.
yeah.
I'm also
Um,
surprised that the trade market was supposed to be a little bit more, and there has been some moves, but a little bit more active. And I thought there would be, since the free agency class was kind of weak, other than it was very top heavy. I thought there'd be some teams like the Yankees, they'd be doing some moving and shaking where they're looking to trade Anthony Volpe and then bring someone else in to replace him or something like that. And there's been none of that.
well, let's get to the Yankees, who had a massive acquisition this week. Michael Ciani is now a New York Yankee.
He's really, I mean, that guy's ring chasing. He should do this during the season
I
where
know.
he goes to all these teams and plays like one game and then
Yeah.
just get a ring somewhere.
Right. So yeah, that I saw that and I was laughing so hard that the Dodgers DFR, sent him out, or released him, I guess, and then the Yankees acquired him off of waivers. I was like, hey, shout out Michael Ciani,
I,
bro.
I don't think there's ever been more of a like a team making fun of the Cardinals without like inadvertently than releasing Michael Ciani for Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
For a $60 million a year player, you're releasing Michael Ciani
Oh,
for that.
the
Uh,
Yankees did also go ahead and bring back Belly, which I was on a radio show down here that I do every Friday, and I said that's probably the least like surprising move in baseball in the offseason.
it was the worst kept secret that they were both just playing chicken the whole
Correct,
offseason.
correct, 100%.
And what are the Yankees doing? And this isn't we're not a Yankee podcast, but they are now just the exact same team. It's
Yeah,
just more
I
expensive.
mean, I don't you think that they look at it as um we had some injuries to pitchers now. They will be without what Rodon through April now, right? Like so that's
Yeah, but
another one.
him and Cole will
Uh,
come back, but we don't know what they'll look like.
Correct. We don't know when that happens, but they did see a lot of, I think, a lot from their young guys last year. Now, obviously,
Schiller
who was the other young guy that had the surgery at the end? He's on my fantasy team. I should be able to
was
remember
Austin
that.
Wells. Did he get hurt?
No, no, no. The pitcher, the other pitcher that got young guy that had a really good start to the year last year,
I don't. Will
and
Warren?
it no, no, no. We'll come up with that name. That's irrelevant. But there was another pitcher that got hurt for them who was really good the first half last year on my fantasy team. Should be able to remember his name, but that's irrelevant. But it does feel like maybe that's where they're leaning, like that they have this belief in what they have internally,
They're the New York
and
Yankees,
I get it.
and their
I
team
get it.
is a Swiss cheese with holes. I'm sorry, you have the greatest hitter. I'm gonna say it. I love Albert. He's the greatest hitter of my lifetime. Aaron Judge.
Interesting.
Look at his stats. It's not even close. Like Albert Pujols put up the counting stats. Okay, so counting longevity wise, it's Albert. But if you look at prime years, no one's close. Albert Pujols wasn't touching 60 home runs. He wasn't even close.
Yeah.
He never even hit 50. So, which is crazy to hit 700 home runs and not
To
hit
be
50.
fair, he didn't hit in Yankee Stadium, so there is that also. By the way.
Right, but I also just don't care.
By the way, Clark Schmidt. That's who I was trying to come up with.
Oh, he's fine.
He was good last year. He was good in the first half last year.
He's some variation of the
And
Michael
they added
Bebury
Ryan
stuff.
Weathers. Like I agree with you. You would think that potential. I mean, maybe they. I mean, we saw what Stanton did when he came back. Maybe
Why
they
weren't
think
they in
that's
on Kyle
lightning in a
Tucker?
bottle.
Why weren't they in on Kyle Tucker?
Maybe they were. We
They
don't know
weren't.
that.
There's been no reports that they were in on him.
That means nothing, and you know that.
You don't think the Yankees would want their fans to know they were
Well,
in on Kyle Tucker?
yeah, I don't know. They are in a wild operation at this point in time. I still think that they've got. I mean, that's and also we saw in the offseason that division is only getting more difficult. The Red Sox did a ton. The Blue Jays, who were a sniff away from the World Series last year, did a ton, and the Orioles brought in a lot of guys. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
Pete
not very big on him.
Alonso, Ryan Helsley, like they did. I mean, they bolstered their.
They did stuff. I don't
I'm
know if
not
any of it
saying
was
that they are
good.
now elite, but they also are getting arms back who they didn't have last year. That also it's going to make them a better. All I'm saying is they're better. Tampa, I mean, I don't know what you make of the Rays, so that's whatever.
Yeah, I also was thinking, is if Aaron Judge never wins a ring, which is looking increasingly likely by the year. I mean, he still could. They're going to be in the conversation again this year and probably next year. If he never does, will he be the only superstar in the history of the Yankees not to win one?
Don
Other,
Mattingly,
yeah, but like he's not a Hall of Famer. So like
he
talking
should
Hall of,
be. I mean, that's a different
I
argument,
mean, there's a
but
debate there, but I'm talking about like elite players. Don Manley was
yeah,
never
yeah, yes. I mean, I mean, next to Griffey, would he be the most elite? Well, did Hank ever win
Hank
one?
never won one, and neither
Okay,
did. I
so
mean,
there you
Mike
go.
Trout's never going to win one. Like, there's plenty of guys out there like
Yeah,
that. Barry
yeah,
Bonds never won one. Like, there's plenty.
yeah. So there's a
But
lot of
I'm
those
just saying,
guys.
as a
He'd be in that
Yankee,
list, though. That's a list you don't want to be on, I would assume.
no, as a Yankee, like if
Griffey,
you're an elite player in the history of the Yankees, you win a World Series or two
yeah,
or three or
yeah.
seven.
I mean, he's going to be in that area out. What do they call that? The where all they have all the heads out there. You know, all the um monuments.
Oh, Monument Park.
Is that what they call it?
I
Monument.
think
That's
that's what. No, that's not
really
right.
creative Yankees.
That's not
But
even
either
right.
way,
That's not right.
he's going to be there. He's going to be there. There's no doubt
And
about it.
anyway,
No one
let's
will wear his number again. 90. Is it? What does he wear?
99.
99. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that was right. He and Ricky
Let
Vaughn.
yeah. Didn't Manny wear 99 or is that wrong?
Yeah, so Taguchi too, maybe, right?
That doesn't sound right. Maybe.
He was. I think he was
Whatever.
nine,
We're
maybe
getting off
whatever.
track. Okay, let's get to the division because we just went on our Yankee rant for a second.
Well, before we do that, I do think there is one thing that we do need to talk about, and that's that Yadier Molina has been signed
Oh no.
again to be another special assistant for the club. So two things. I have two things for you on
Mhm.
this. I think it's always good if Yadi is around younger players, right? I do. That's one. The question is, and this is the question that we don't know the answer to yet, is he going to show up this time? We hope that's the case. Like, if you believe that there is a caveat there that says, all right, Yadi, we're signing you, but this time we actually need you to work more than 2 days.
What's the punishment if he doesn't show up?
That's okay. We agree on this. I'm just asking you. I mean, if there isn't something like so, my question this leads to my second question, which I'll let you get to. Do you think that this sets up for the move for Ali to move up into the front office as we've heard, and Yachty to be the new head coach? Because that's the fodder that's out there.
I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
For yes, having Yadier Molina around young players on its face is a positive.
correct.
Here's what I will say. I don't want him teaching people things that the organization's not teaching them. So they need to be in lockstep with whatever they're teaching.
Right.
Like you don't need a player that's going to swing by once every month and then fill Ivan Herrera's head with the exact opposite of what everyone else is telling them. Because like, and I'm not saying he will do that, but Yadier Molina has always been a fantastic catcher. There's never been a moment, probably in his life, where he wasn't great at this. He was born to be what a great catcher. So the problem that Barry Bonds ran into when he was trying to teach everyone but Christian Yelich, who it worked for because Yelich is amazing, hitting is that he was like, hey, why aren't you doing this? It's easy. Just hit the ball in the air. Like, and he's just like, I can't do it. And
Right.
he was like, it's
Right.
easy. Just catch the ball with your bat. And they're like, what does that even mean? Stop telling me that. So he needs to be in lockstep with the organization, or else I don't even want him around. Because if
Which,
he's
by the
still,
way, goes back to the theory that you and I have discussed quite a bit on here, that is a main reason why the superstars of the game do not go into coaching.
it's also the main reason why Mark McGwire is not allowed or near the Cardinals hitters anymore.
Right.
Like what you can make your own judgment whether or not you like that or not. But if you're feeling like let's just go with the Jordan Walker example, right? He's been messed up for years. You do not need multiple messages going at that guy.
Correct.
Even
We
if the one
agree.
message you're giving him isn't working, it
Right.
still doesn't need to be two because it's definitely not going to work.
Now that assumption is that that's what Yachty will do. Let's hope that that is
No, I'm not
not what
saying that.
Yachty.
I'm saying
Right.
he
I know you're
needs to
not.
not
I
do
know you're
that,
not.
or else I don't even
I
want him around.
so now
But
get to point two that the fodders that's
no,
out
I'll get
there.
to hold on. I'll get there. But yes, so I'm not saying I don't want Yachty around. I'm saying I hope that there is a plan in place to where he can assist the organization, not go off on his own. And we do know Yachty is a very proud man. We know that he likes to do his things his own way. We know that as well. So there is some reluctancy with me for that, but I'm hoping they've ironed that plan out. I trust Heimblum to have at least had that conversation.
Okay.
Um, how often he'll be around, I don't know. And like, if we're taking the optimistic view, I never thought I'd see him in the dugout last year, and I saw him multiple times. So that at least shows a willingness and maybe he's more ready now than he was a year after retirement to be around more often. So I would assume he'll be around more than he was before.
It's also highly possible that you get a juiced up Yachty after the WBC.
After that Puerto Rican team's not good, by the way.
I know, but that doesn't mean. But when I think that there's going to be a lot of like juice for Yachty, like coming out of that, as
Hmm.
I just coached my homeland's team, and
For the
you
second
might get
time.
like I am like fired up in baseball, so maybe you get that. I don't know, and I don't know what the long term plans for Yachty here in St. Louis look like. I truly don't believe that it's as a manager, but it could be. It could be.
It shouldn't be. I have a lot of thoughts on Yachty as a manager. I'll start here. There are people in Venezuela who are absolutely tearing him apart for the Venezuelan Winter League, which he is a manager of one of the teams, because he's just bunting all the time. Does that sound like something Heimblum would ever want?
No, it does
Okay.
not. Or that will work in 2026 Major League Baseball.
So once again, when you have guys like Yachty who are kind of set in their ways, he always has been, he does not fit with the current structure of the game. Now that doesn't mean he can't learn more. Maybe you get him in the dugout with Ollie and he becomes more receptive to some of the newer models. But if you're trying to become an organization, and this is going to piss a lot of people off that I'm saying this, but whatever, I'm going to say it anyway. If you're trying to become an organization that's now not lagging behind as far as they have been, and they're now becoming hopefully a front runner for technology and everything that's going to be used in Major League Baseball, then you cannot have a manager who's stuck in the past. Now,
Correct.
I'm not
We
saying he
agree with
will
that.
be. He has a lot to learn. He's still young when it comes to being a coach. If any conversation like that needs to start with him being in the dugout for 162 games before you even look at that as a possibility.
Yep. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And I
Like I
think
would be okay
most
with him being the next
logical,
bench
rational
coach.
baseball fans would agree with that as well.
Like if I'm hoping Daniel Descalso gets an opportunity elsewhere, if the managerial job doesn't open up in St. Louis for him to go be a manager somewhere, and if that happens, then the way you bring Yadi along is you make him the next bench coach.
Yeah, we agree.
And
Yep,
that would be
which would be
great. And
great.
I don't know if he'd take that. You might have to way overpay him for that job, but we don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
But it's great to have him around. Like all the pessimism I just spewed, I'm not like upset about it, and I do think having him around is great as long as things are running the way that they should. Having any coach around, because he is Yadier Molina, but he's also at this point now going to be just a coach
Right.
or an advisor. So
Right.
he's not playing. So it's not like he brings a lot of value if he's doing things the way that would benefit the Cardinals, which would be helping them, not trying to undermine them.
Especially a system that is loaded with young catching.
Yes, and that's why
And
that's also one of the things that's like great to have him around for those guys because he is, in my opinion, there are other guys out there, Johnny Bench, Pudge, whatever. In my opinion, he's the greatest defensive catcher to ever walk this planet.
he's the greatest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think
That's what
he's.
I'll say.
Speaking of Pudge, this is so random, but CC Sabathia posted a picture of Pudge and Andrew Jones and himself. Pudge looks like he's been. But one, I think he might be back on the steroids, but that was a joke, of course, allegedly. But he is huge.
Yeah, did you see them down there playing golf with King Griffey Jr. and there was somebody else, the five of them. There was another guy that was with them. I thought that was pretty awesome picture. It was CC, Pudge, Griffey, Andrew Jones, and there was a fifth one that they were all down there playing golf. I thought that was fantastic. I also let me say this. I also do believe the value of Yachty, not just with young catchers, but if you look at really our top three catchers, they're Latin, and I think that
Hmm.
can't be like undersold when you have Herrera, Rodriguez, and Bernal.
Add
I
Pedro
don't
to there too.
agreed. Yeah, I don't think that that can be undersold and undervalued. I'm not trying to like put out Jimmy Crooks because I think also a lot of value for him. But I do believe
He's gonna be the
that
odd man out.
that if Yachty is fully vested in this role, like I think that wealth of knowledge that he could really help those young catchers with could be a massive payoff for this organization. I really do.
Part of me almost hopes, and this is the way you get around the thing I was just saying, where there could be issues with them maybe teaching Ivan Herrera and thinking the best way for him to catch in modern baseball is to squat down on one knee, right?
Right.
And we have, with the ABS system, I'm interested to see how much that changes because
A
I,
lot.
yeah, I mean, I don't know because you only get two challenges a game. You might have some young hitters that aren't, they're told you're not challenging any of these throughout the game. Like that might happen unless they're egregious because you want your veterans to have the opportunity to challenge a bad call. But I still think it's going to be prevalent until we go to a fully automated strike zone, which doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon.
No.
But you might have, and I know there's once again varying thought processes of whether that's a good idea or not. But if that's what the organization wants Ivan Herrera to start doing, I don't want Yadier Molina to then tell him not to do that. But what I do think Yadi can do that will not, that no one else in the organization can even try to do, is help all these guys with preparation and the mental part of the game,
Yep.
because that's the thing that he was the greatest at, which is why
Agreed.
I think any of these Hall of Fame conversations around him, and when you use stats for Yachty, I just don't care about the stats. He
Right.
did things that you can't quantify, and anyone who watched baseball for that 20 years when he was playing knows that. Um, that's the type of thing that he should be in there helping these guys with more than anything.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope that that is what I really do hope. Like I'm optimistic that that's what's going to happen. So
He'll
that's
at
what
least
I'll
have the
say.
opportunity to do it.
Yeah. So let's get to the division. You brought that up earlier. The Brewers send out Freddie Peralta, in the most typical Brewers fashion of all time. Like
Yep.
we know that that's how the Brewers operate. No shade at them. They continue to win every year, and so far it has worked. Like with a lot of
Yep.
guys that they have shipped out, we've seen
Been a
that
resounding success, I'd say.
continually be successful for them. I don't know. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know a lot about the Mets prospects they got back. I know one was
I've
one of
heard
their
good
top ones,
things.
but I've heard right. But I know nothing. Like I don't know much about the Mets
Hmm.
farm system. Um, but I do know that the Mets added. That's like we've talked on here. They still don't have anybody get anybody out. Well, now they do. Now they have an ace. We'll see what their other
Brandon.
arms look. Freddie Peralta in my mind is an ace. What do you have? 2.57 ERA, I think last year.
I just
Like
don't like the
that's
term ace, but that's all right.
okay,
That's fine.
fine. A number one,
Because
top
he's
of the
not
road
Paul Skeens.
totter. Would they have a totter?
They have a playoff starter on their team.
Correct. Yep.
Uh,
They also then went out and added Luis Robert, which I think is a lotto ticket. I think that's a guy that like you're
I can't
hoping.
stand that guy.
No, most people cannot.
He's
So
horrible.
that once again, insanely typical Mets move.
He's horrible. We can get to him in a second. Um, for Freddie Peralta, the Brewers part of this, I was thinking about this the other day. Do you remember, let's say 3, 4 years ago, when the Rays were in the midst of their multiple year run of being very successful, being at the top of the most expensive division in baseball, the AL East, at least at the time, before the Dodgers went crazy. Um, and they just continued to outperform these teams like the Yankees that were outspending them. And we were all like, well, we're going to believe in the Rays until they show us that they can't do it anymore. There
Right.
was a breaking point for the Rays. And that was for them, a lot of it was losing guys like Heim Bloom, losing all the guys in the brain trust where they no longer, what was that face?
It was also their absolute stud shortstop
Right.
ending up in jail. Like that
Yes.
was
I
a
mean,
massive part of it
that's
too.
obviously part of it. But even after
Yes.
that, they still had some successful seasons.
Correct.
So, but it will also, I think, at some point, trading away great players. It's hard to develop great players in baseball. And if you look at the Brewers, Corbin Burns, Willie Adames,
Devin
and now
Williams.
Freddie Peralta, and there's Josh Hader, Devin Williams.
Yeah.
That's five there, and I'm sure there's even more that we didn't name. At some point, it does catch up with you, and to this point, it hasn't for the Brewers. I do think in the next couple years, we're going to see that catch up with them.
Were you shocked that Tobias Myers was thrown into that deal? Like I don't think he was very good last year, but he did have
I don't even think I
some.
knew that.
Yeah, he that was part of the deal too. Like I was shocked that he was added into that trade as well. I thought that was a pretty good get for the Mets. Now I don't know what the likelihood of Tobias Myers bounce back this year is. I didn't dig into his 2025
He's
stats, but I
just
do.
fine.
You're right. It's another arm. I mean, that's another arm.
He's
I guess
he's an
that
option.
it has had some success at the big league level.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me because I'm assuming the Brewers have guys they think can replace them. Now,
Yeah,
here's how you make this Freddie Peralta thing not matter if you're the Brewers. That's if like Mizorowski just becomes the star he looks like he can be. Then
and
it's just like
Jesus
okay,
made right. Like if
yeah.
he's yeah,
And Brandon Woodruff, I hope that guy can stay healthy for a season.
same
We'll see if that
same.
happens.
Yeah, they
I don't
seem to
know.
love him up there. Like he seems to be the guy in the clubhouse.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Can we get to Luis Robert for 1 second?
Sure, please. That's all you.
He I saw a lot of people say this is a steal. They got him for nothing, and my reaction to that was, yeah, you got nothing for nothing because he's horrible. Can I give you his stats over the last couple of years?
I would love to hear them, and I'm sure that everyone is waiting on bated breath.
Okay, let's go back to 2023. His breakout season. He had 5.3 WAR in 140 games, 130 OPS plus, stole 20 bases, hit 38 home runs. I think he was a finalist for the Gold Glover. Just an incredible season. He was a Silver Slugger. He was great in 2023. Since then, he has an OPS plus of 86 and then 85. He hasn't had an on base percentage over 297. He hasn't slugged over 400. He hasn't hit over 14 home runs. He stole 33 bases last year, so I guess he decided to start running. And he decides when he wants to run to first base, when he wants to actually try to catch a fly ball. That seems to be a thing he likes to not do sometimes.
Right.
I don't understand why how a guy who's really had two good seasons has become this like star to people. He's not good.
I think people saw that season that you opened with, and they see the talent that everybody
Super
believes
talented.
is there. Right. I think that's it. And I think there are obviously multiple franchises. I mean, I've seen the calls for uh, people here who wanted him brought here, like fans who wanted Luis Robert brought here. So I think that's probably every fan base because you saw and you have seen the talent, and he is a physical specimen, like very Yasiel Puig almost looking
That
like, and
great
at
comp.
times,
How did his
huh?
rest of his career go?
Well,
So that's a great comparison. They're like the same
I'm just
person,
saying.
except for Puig was
Yep.
better for longer. Um,
That's I think what people see. That's all I'm saying.
that 2020, what was that, 2021 White Sox team? I mean, what was in the water there? With Tim
Yeah, like
Anderson, Yoan Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, all of them have had question marks about who they like their attitudes. Like
well, and Tim Anderson
Ramirez.
out of the league now, right? And I was a Tim Anderson fan.
Jose
Like
Ramirez literally knocked him out of the league.
he did. Let's
And
talk about
then
that too while we're on that.
oh,
Jose
Jose.
Ramirez signs an extension. Shout out to the Guardians. Shout out to our friends who are Cleveland fans.
Shout out to
Shout out
Jose
to Jose
Ramirez.
Ramirez. But I had to giggle when I saw that what he get 7 years, whatever it was, 165, something like 175, and Kyle Tucker got four for two. For like Jose Ramirez. I used to say that in my mind, Mookie Betts was the most underrated player in Major League Baseball simply because it just seemed like he was always talked about, but he was never talked about in the
It was
way that
always
he played the
overshadowed.
game. Correct. It's now Jose Ramirez, and I don't think it's close. He is a top five player in the game of Major League of Baseball in all regards,
Hmm.
defensively, offensively, leadership, everything he does. We're talking future Hall of Famer, potentially with
No, he's
Jose
already a Hall of
Ramirez.
Famer.
Okay, there you go. I appreciate that even more. And to see, I'm happy for him to stay in Cleveland. I'm happy that he took that deal. I wonder what the players' union thought about that extension.
I don't know. Probably didn't like it, but that's also the second time he's done this. He's left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, but once again, that's his choice. He's not going to be
Right.
hurting for money. He probably doesn't care. You're talking about a guy that came from, I believe he's from the DR. Yeah, he's from the Dominican
He
Republic,
is.
and people would bet on his games when he was like 15 years old, and
Yep.
if he didn't get a hit, they would like chase him home and try to beat him up. So
Yes.
that's a guy that doesn't care what other people think
Right.
about the hundred millions of dollars he's making.
I'm
He's made
also pumped for Cleveland fans that they know he's going to
yes.
be there.
Yeah, it's great for them. I mean,
Yeah.
is he the only, if you go back in their history, how many of their superstars have even stayed? Omar Vizquel?
Homie was there for a while. Vizquel,
He ended up
Alomar was,
leaving.
yeah, he ended up leaving, but he was still there for a good chunk of his career.
Yeah, but Jose is going to be there his whole career, it looks like.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy for him. I love that. I love for him. I love it for the game. I love it for my Cleveland fans. I love it for the city of Cleveland. I love it for baseball because that's a guy who decided, you know, I don't
Yeah,
think the
and
players union's going to love it. I'll be honest. I don't think they love it at all. But
I don't think it matters.
no,
Because
I
I don't
agree.
think, because you saw what Alex Bregman just signed, I don't think this impacts future third baseman.
Yeah,
Everyone knows
yeah.
it's unique.
I just when I saw the number, I just literally laughed. I laughed out loud because I was like, that's hilarious compared to
Yeah.
what. And again, I'm not throwing shade at Cal Tucker, but let's just be honest here.
I also was thinking about, I wasn't like, for Jose taking it, that's up to him. He can do whatever he wants. He's making
100.
$25 million dollars a year. He's doing fine.
Yeah,
But what I was thinking, I was like, man, the Guardians just should have offered him more money because he deserves it. Like,
yeah,
offer the
yeah.
guy 200 or
I
something.
know, I know.
Like,
Just
I
a
don't
little
know.
nugget, just a wink. Can I get
Yeah,
a
just give
wink?
him some more. Like he already signed a team friendly deal when the Blue Jays were hard after him, and they probably would have paid him 300 if he wanted it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Good for the Guardians. Good for Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
He has generational money that I'm sure he never thought he would have, and he's, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer already.
Okay. I think we are roughly 18 days from pitchers and catchers reporting. I don't remember if the Cardinals pitchers and catchers report on the 12th or the 11th. I think it's the 12th, but that's like 18 days away. And with that being said, the last thing I have is massive, massive shout out to Andrew Jones, to Jeff Kent, and oh my goodness, brain
Carlos
fart.
Beltran.
Carlos Beltran. Complete
We're a
brain
Cardinal
fart there for a
podcast, and you
second.
forgot the only Cardinal
Yeah,
on the
I did
list.
complete brain fart there. I had it and I just lost it. Like as far as growing up as a baseball fan, baseball lover, all of that. Those three guys were the pinnacle of their positions for years, as far
Mhm.
as I'm concerned. And I'm really pumped that they all three got in. Jeff Kent, nobody loves him. I loved Jeff Kent as a college, our high school and college second baseman who hit that. That I didn't hit bombs. He did, and I love that. I wanted to be Jeff Kent when I was a kid.
Mhm. He has the most home runs of any second baseman ever.
Correct. And I am
So,
so glad that they finally put him in, even though there are so many baseball writers who did their damnedest to keep him out. The Beltran, I mean, I think a lot of us were nervous that the scandal was going to keep him out. I'm glad that baseball buried a hatchet there. That's maybe progress on their part. And then Andrew Jones should have been in years ago. I do love one thing. I'll go back to my thoughts on the Hall of Fame. So many people get their panties up in a bunch when they don't think that these people are Mickey Mantle or whoever they are that are in the Hall of
and they're
Fame.
not
I
Mickey
don't.
Mantle,
I don't. The Hall of Fame is a museum of what is the greatest baseball players to play the game. And for 10 years, Andrew Jones was one of those. And I do love that we're starting to look. I mean, it's the Sandy Koufax like era. Like, what am I looking for? The Sandy Koufax,
who?
whatever scenario where
Yeah,
you're using their best at a
and
small,
yes,
and I love that because you can't tell me that for 10 years Andrew Jones wasn't one of the best center fielders in the game behind Griffey. And then there's another guy that I know you want to talk about who's not in the Hall of Fame, who has a Cardinal podcast. I mean, originally thought he should be in the Hall of Very Good. That was my
which is insane that you
pretentiousness.
ever thought
We
that, by the way.
agree. He should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
It's insane. We'll talk about
And
Jim
that's
Edmonds
Jim
in a
Edmonds.
second. But I want to get to Carlos Beltran because I think Andrew Jones obviously deserving. I do believe there's some off the field stuff there. We'll leave that for a different time. I haven't
Correct.
researched it
Correct.
enough. Um, Jeff Kent should have been in first ballot. He one of the greatest second basemen ever live. I don't understand why he didn't get in the first 10 years, but I'm glad the Veterans
You
Committee got him
do.
in.
But you do understand.
No, I don't understand why anyone would not vote for him because Ty
There
Cobb's in
were
the Hall of
writers
Fame.
who he was mean to. Like this has
Yeah.
been openly public
Yeah.
that would
And
not
then you
vote for
look
him.
at, I mean, I'll just say this. Look up Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, and Rogers Hornsby. Not you. Just let me finish. Just look up their three names together. See what pops up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
So I don't care that Kurt Schilling hurt your feelings, and I don't care that he hurt your feelings either. Even though Kurt Schilling, not a good guy, but whatever, he still should be in the Hall of
Right.
Fame.
Correct.
Or you should kick them all out, which I'd also be in favor of. Jeff Kent, even not. By the way, Jeff Kent not even in the conversation for with any of those guys I just
No.
named.
No. 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 Please. Yeah. Thank you
He was
for
just
doing
he
that.
was just cocky and not nice to
Yes. And
people.
Surly.
And I'm sure, I mean, go watch videos. I've watched this before. Go watch videos of Mark McGuire. I'm sure he's a fine guy, but he was not nice to reporters either when he was
Right.
like hulking out. Anyway, um, for Carlos Beltran, because I think he's the most interesting conversation. Andrew Jones, over 400 home runs, the greatest defensive center fielder. Other than I never saw Willie Mays, so I can't speak on him. But the greatest defensive center fielder of the modern era, I don't even think is debatable. He had 10 Gold Gloves. That's insane. But if we're talking about Carlos Beltran, how do you square the circle of PEDs being worse than cheating the way that they did?
Right.
I don't know the
Right.
answer to that
No.
question.
Me neither.
Is it simply that it was unprecedented and they didn't have actual like rules in place? I don't know.
I don't
Like, I think
either.
he should be in, but I maybe because it's a team wide thing and PEDs are very player specific. I don't know how you can reconcile the difference between the two because cheating's cheating.
We agree.
Like we can argue about what cheating's worse than the other cheating, but it's still cheating regardless. You know, like I don't know. I think he should be in for sure. I do think it's an interesting conversation. I will say I saw Kyle Gibson. There's a new podcast. It's an ongoing podcast, but now it's with Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, Matt Holliday, and Jim Hayes called Cardinals Territory. And I saw Kyle Gibson said that he can say for sure they were not the only people doing that.
Right. Of
And I
course they
think
weren't.
we
We
all know
know
that to be
that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
know.
so I
Right.
think that might be something that the baseball writers also know, and we're like, we're just gonna like, there's gonna be
Right.
guys that are going that haven't been punished for this, and we're not gonna be able to punish them for it.
I mean, Caleb, this goes back to just for me personally, 1987, like, and probably pre that, but like Cardinals Twins World Series, that World Series, home teams only won, like, nobody won on the road, right? So the Twins win in seven because
Oh
they were the
yeah,
home team. And there was like, they were pumping in cold air when so and so was hitting. There
yes.
were lights flashing out in the, like, this isn't
That's
new.
not the same though as using
I
cameras.
understand. Well, I mean,
It's not.
I
That's
get
almost like
it,
kind
but
of the fun thing.
I, I mean, it's changing the dynamic of the game.
Right, it is.
That's what I'm saying.
I
But
think
I mean, I also I had coaches in high school and college who that was their specialty was trying to pick up signs. So there is that difference. I would try to do it at second base if I could
not the
do
same
it.
thing.
We understand. I'm saying. So they did I cross the line 100
No,
probably 100%.
no,
Yes.
but that's not the same though, because like
I'm not arguing that it's the same. That's not what
one
I'm
is
saying.
like something
What
you
I'm
should be
saying is
doing.
it's been going on forever. They just took it to different levels. And I think what there was cell phone stuff going on with what was it, the Yankees or the Red Sox or one of those teams. Like that's my point is that I think every as you get deeper and longer into the game, I think it gets more and more advanced. And I don't know where that line is.
I think they maybe did it the best and got caught because of it.
Most probably. That's probably
Like that might
100%
just be what it
correct.
is. Either way, I'm interested to see if this allows Jose Altuve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Same. He should be.
Because that his best year of his career was during that season. But if you read any report out there, he and Josh Reddick seem to be the only two that didn't use it, which is funny to me. I don't believe the Josh Reddick one because that's like the only good year of his career as an offensive player. But for Altuve, it said that he didn't use it. Anyway, we can get to Jim Edmonds for a second. I'll just read you his stats. Now I think okay, here's my take. It's harder to be a great baseball player today than it has ever been. There's so
Agreed.
many less today than there have ever been. So let's just leave that caveat out there. But obviously, OPS plus is weighted to the league, so people he was playing with. If there was a center fielder today that was an eight-time Gold Glove winner, had a career 903, I'll repeat that, 903 OPS with a 130 OPS plus, played for 17 years, had a 284 career average for those of you who love batting average, had a career 376 on base percentage, and had a slugging percentage of 527 for his career. Not to mention the fact that he was known as a defensive player and he amassed over 60 WAR. That guy would be a no-brainer Hall of Famer coming out of
We
this league.
agree. We agree.
Like every stat I just gave you is like I can't tell you how many Cardinals in my lifetime have had single seasons that good.
Just to mirror it, and this is not a slight at Andrew Jones, okay? What I'm about to tell you, but
Hmm.
this is not like this is. I still believe Andrew Jones deserving of Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
but just comparatively, for his career, like Andrew Jones 111, Edmonds 132, OPS
Hmm.
plus, OPS 823 for Andrew Jones. You just said 903, slugging 486, 527, and on base 337 to 376. The batting average 254, like you said, for those who love it, 284. It's not even close. It's about the same in All-Star games. 10 Gold Gloves for Andrew Jones, 8 for Edmonds. Both won the Silver Slugger once, and obviously Edmonds won one championship.
How did Jim only win one Silver Slugger? Who was
Interesting. Well,
winning them in
because
center field in the National League?
well, was Griffey over
Beltron.
here for a while? Like he might have won one. I don't know who else would have been winning them at that time. But
So
or
he
and do
only
they?
won it in the
Well,
MV3
here's my
year.
question: do they do Silver Slugger by outfield position, or do they do it by outfield?
They do it by outfield. That's what
That's what I'm
steroids.
saying.
Okay, that's
So
the answer.
there you go. That's the
Can
Barry
I?
Bonds. Like,
He's a four-time All Star. Can I?
yeah,
This isn't. This
Andrew was
is.
five.
I'm gonna go on my soapbox for a second. It is, and All Stars should not even be. We shouldn't even count them. I don't care.
We agree
This
with
guy
that
had put up a
100%.
season with a 7.2 WAR. This was 2004, the MV3 year. He put up an OPS of 1061 and won a Gold Glove as a center fielder, and he wasn't an All Star.
Yeah.
And he was finished fifth in MVP voting and won the
Well,
Gold
is
Glove
it
and the Silver
possible that
Slugger.
we don't know? Maybe he was and he decided not to play in that game.
No,
I
he
don't
still
know
counts.
that
Still
either.
counts.
Okay. Okay. Well, there you go.
It could be that he
Yeah.
got off to a. He just was on a red hot
Right.
second half. You would remember that better than I. I don't know.
I should, but I
I was
don't.
two. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I was one for some of the season,
I
so I
just
don't know.
it seems like to me though that he, Roland, and Ed our pools were good from the jump that year. Like if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
But again,
that was
I
probably
could
the
not.
most dominant Cardinals team in our lifetime.
Since 1980, well, maybe ever.
My
I mean,
lifetime.
I mean in my lifetime. 82 was pretty doggone awesome, but that team was way more dominant.
Can I make it? Scott Rowland deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'll say that from the
Yes, we
outset.
agree.
Jim Edmonds deserves it more than Scott Rowland did.
Yes. Yeah, they both should be in.
Why
Do you
is Jim
think
Edmonds not
okay,
in the
do
Hall
you
of Fame?
think Edmonds pops back up with the vet committee and they put him in
Yes,
now
he'll
that
get in.
yeah, I do
He'll
too.
get in eventually. I just cannot believe he fell off the ballot.
Yeah, me
He
neither.
didn't even get to 10 years. He fell off the ballot.
Me neither.
How Okay.
Hey,
Dave
hold
Parker,
on.
rest in
Can I
peace.
tell you why again? I looked at the final voting, like of the Hall of Fame, which is a farce. Like, which that whole thing needs to
Well,
be
there are
redone.
some people that do a really good job, but yes,
There are. Rick Porcello got
he got a
two
vote.
votes.
Well, that I don't even want to go there. I can't even. I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, let's
I
rest
get
in
it.
peace
Maybe
to
it's a
Dave Parker.
Detroit guy,
Obviously,
whatever. But come on,
let me get to Dave
let's do our
Parker.
jobs right.
Let me get to Dave Parker for a second. I there are there are definitely points to be made that he maybe should not be in the Hall of Fame. Okay, now I don't have any problem that Dave Parker's in the Hall of Fame, but he is definitely going to be in the history of baseball one of the lower end Hall of Famers. Okay, one of the guys who just got in, and there's going to be he only had 40 career WAR. There's going to be arguments. Now there were injuries and things that derailed his career, but he did play for 20 years. He only averaged around 2 wins a season in terms of WAR. That's not
Right.
fantastic. He is so much worse at everything. So
Okay.
than Jim
Let's
Edmonds
not
was.
bury Dave Parker,
I'm not Barrett.
R.I.P.
Dad, let me read you the
I
stats,
don't
okay?
like what you're doing right now.
Jim Edmonds 370 OBP, right, for his career. Dave Parker's at 340, 471 slug. Jim Edmonds was over 500, 810 OPS. Jim Edmonds was over 900, 121 OPS plus. Jim Edmonds was 130. Oh yeah, and also Dave Parker was a right fielder that won 3 Gold Gloves. Jim Edmonds was a center fielder that won 8, and he had 20 career WAR more than him. How in the world can you look at those two players and say one guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame and the other doesn't? Oh yeah, also Jim Edmonds won a freaking World Series and was the biggest reason they even got to that World Series because of the home run he hit in the NLCS.
So let me just give you another one, okay? And just tell
Tim
me in your
Raines,
mind, huh?
keep going.
All right. Just to give you this, what if I tell you that there is also a player out there who had a career 128 OPS plus, 870 OPS, 475 slug, and a 395 career OBP, was a Gold Glover and a Silver Slugger winner, and has a over 60 WAR, who is also not in the Hall of Fame.
Who is it?
It's Bobby Abreu.
Don't even get me started. Why is that man so disrespected?
Well, thank you. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yes.
He
Like,
should
and
be a no doubt Hall of
he
Famer.
got like 50 some, I think it was like 57% of the vote or something this
How many
year.
doubles does he have for his career?
It's got to be, I mean,
It's like it's
outrageous. Let
like
me just
500 or something
well, he has
ridiculous.
2,500 hits, 288 home runs, but his stolen bases too, if I remember right.
Yes, he's in.
Like
Yeah, he's one of the play. I
400,
don't.
so he has 400 stolen bases, and he also has 574 doubles,
He's so okay.
59 triples.
Yeah, and this pisses me off because I don't
Yeah.
understand why he's on the Hall of Fame.
Do you think it's because he wasn't known as a like star? Like he was
Yes, that's
never a
why.
star.
Which by the way is an insane thing to say for someone who in nine. Let's just go. I'll go through this for 1 second. From 1998 to holy shit,
Yeah, I know.
2006. Okay,
Yeah,
906 OPS, 995 OPS, 970, 936, 934, 877, 971, 879, 870, 886, 861, 926.
agreed. That's agreed. I went through it like right when I saw him on the ballot. It's like, okay, so he's getting in. Now isn't it weird also when you talked about those all stars? Only a two-time all star for Bobby Abreu, which we don't. I'm not. I'm just saying
It's
that's
which is just
weird.
so
Yeah.
dumb.
Do you think
But
it was
we
just because he was overshadowed on every team he was on?
well, okay. So let's go from 98 through 2004. Every season he was at least 36% above league average or more, and he was in many seasons over 40% and one season over 50% above league average. In a league where everybody that was great for the most part was using steroids. And he was not. And he was that
Right.
good relative to the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah, I we agree. Like it's hard for me to fathom the more that I look into things that Bobby Abreu and Jim Edmonds are not in the Hall of Fame. As I mean,
I,
especially
I,
considering Edmonds more than even more. I'll say more because he was an elite defender as well.
Jim Edmonds even more because even by the stupid guardrails or guard line, what am I trying to say?
Guardrails,
Guardrails that they've put up
guidelines.
around the Hall of Fame of you have to be great at something. Jim Edmonds clearly great defensively. You
Yes,
have to be one of the best of your position. He clearly was.
correct.
He fits every single one of those things to a T. So he's more confusing because even in the dumb things that they've set up for themselves and who they should vote for and who they shouldn't, he fits all those even without the advanced stats that
Yeah,
show him to be even greater than he got credit for at the time. For Bobby
agreed.
Abreu, though, they're almost the exact same player in terms of career value.
Yeah, oh
and
yeah,
how
they
great they
are.
were at their position. Like I just don't understand it. How can you look at Dave Parker and tell me he's better than either one of those two players?
I get it.
You can't. The answer is
I
you
can't.
cannot because he's not. He wasn't. He just straight up
Yeah,
wasn't.
I get it.
And that's not to say Dave Parker doesn't deserve to be in, even though I do think there is an argument to be made that um, he is very borderline on that who should be in the Hall of Fame and who should not be.
I
Which
was
one thing
trying
I'm
to
happy
find
for
it
him. Like
here,
I'm not one of the I'm not a small hall guy. I'm fine with it as long as the players are genuinely great players for a decent amount of time and they get in. That's fine by me.
but I was wrong, dude. Bobby Abreu got 31% of the vote.
It's insane. How
Do
can
you
you
know who
look?
got more than, I mean, you know
It's
who got more than
perception,
him?
is what it
Hold on.
is.
Do you know who got more than him? Manny Ramirez and Alex Rodriguez. So that does say something about potentially others coming into the vote, but that's insane that he only got 31% of the vote.
I mean, I just don't understand what you can look at with this guy and say like what it is it's the home runs, and it's so insane to me that
Yeah.
the same people that are keeping guys like him out, all right, are the people that hate the three true outcomes: the walks,
Yep.
strikeouts, home runs.
Right.
And but they're the same people that put up these 500 home runs to get you in those types
Yep.
of guard lines. It's
I
ridiculous.
I love that you're calling them guard lines, by the way.
Guardrails.
I
I don't
think I
care.
love that you've made up your own
I
terms in the
know.
Baseball
I've
Writers
made
of
it up.
America.
Whatever.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous to me that like the more I've looked into Bobby Abreu, and I'll give Derek Gould credit, he put me onto it. I think the more that it's just like he should definitely be in.
Yeah.
But it's insane to me that these people, it just seems like they always say, well, I never thought of him as a top five player in the league, so he's not getting in. Well, maybe that's your fault because there's certain years there where he most definitely was.
As someone who has played fantasy baseball, people are going to hate this comment because it doesn't have anything to do with the Hall of Fame. But the only reason I say this since like '96, Bobby Abreu was a staple on my teams because he was great every year from like '98 to
I
2008.
just gave you the stats. It was
I know.
insane.
That's why I'm saying. So like that's why I knew that Bobby Abreu was great. But then when you go back and you look and you do forget as the years go on. But the fact that he got 31% is disgusting to me because the veterans are going to put him in. I thank shout out to the Veterans Committee. They might be the only rational thinking group in Major League Baseball, but they're going to put him in, I hope, because he deserves. I just hope they don't wait until like he's 85 years old and then realize, oh yeah, this guy was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I also like obviously I just don't like even if you go and you look at Ichiro when you go like who obviously for years was playing in Japan and he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But and you look at Derek Jeter and some of these players that were seen as no brainer, obviously getting in, no question about it. These guys stack up with them. They just do.
Well,
They
the
stack up
answer
with
for
them.
your back to your rhetorical question, which might not have been rhetorical about Dave Parker, is if you were to look at that '70s era, which was sort of the oddball era of baseball as far as massive stats, outliers, George Foster, like there were outliers, but Dave Parker was insanely consistent in that era that he played in where they what did the Pirates win two or three championships or whatever World Series. I think that was a lot of it. I mean, Pittsburgh was a hub for Major League Baseball in the '70s. He was a massive part of that with Stargell and Lee Lacy and all of those guys that
Oh,
were on
hold
that
on.
team. Rick Rode. I'm just saying.
Hold
So I
on.
think if you were to put it up against the guys like I think is the most important is who were you playing against at the time you were playing. I
Hmm.
think that's an important stat for a guy like Dave Parker. It's also why Gary Carter's probably in the Hall of Fame. It's why Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame. But I go back to my original comment in the fact that it's a baseball museum to me, and that you should have the best of each generation and of each decade or fill in the blank in there represented in that museum. So I'm not really mad at any of them. I am, however, a little bit angry at the people who are not in. I'm not as angry as the people who are in. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I just stumbled across something that is shocking to me. What do you think Ichiro Suzuki's career OPS plus was?
150.
107.
107? Oh, because he didn't hit as many home runs, even though evidently he said he could,
You don't
which
have
is
to
the
hit home
silliest
runs to
thing
have a
of
good
all
OPS
time.
plus.
Because if you could, you would.
Bobby Abreu, no, you don't have to hit home runs. Bobby Abreu didn't hit that many home runs.
I'm
Um,
just, I meant the comment that if I wanted to hit a home run every at bat, I could, but
which
I didn't want to is a silly comment. I don't think he said it. I think someone else
that
said
was
it
Ty
about
Cobb,
him.
wasn't it? Also, they said that.
It
Which
could be.
you know what I saw the other day. So Ichiro, his Japanese things. He's a Hall of Famer. Okay, his Japanese playing days,
Right.
no doubt. 2001, right? One of the most famous seasons of all time. First rookie to ever win MVP in Major League Baseball history. Um, he had the same OPS plus in that season that Eugenio Suarez had last year.
But that was Albert's rookie year too.
Did you hear what I just said to
Yeah,
you?
I did. I did. I did.
Eugenio
I
Suarez
did.
can't get a contract right now.
Oh.
Well, I mean, he
Okay,
hit
last thing before
350,
we
so
get out of
obviously.
here, as we've gone on about the which I do think needed its due, because also I don't want it lost in the mix. I love that Lars Newmar's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but I do love that
Higher OPS
I
plus
am
his
fired
career
up
than
for
Ichiro
those three to get
Suzuki.
in. That's what I'll
Lars
say. I am
Lars
fired.
Lars Nootbaar has a higher OPS plus in his career than Ichiro Suzuki.
I love that.
I
I
think that
love
might be
that.
true. Hold on, let me see. I think that is true.
I
That has
don't.
to be
There's
true.
no way. Anyway, I don't want it to get lost in the fact that I am fired up that Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kenner are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they
That's
all are
what I
very
want.
deserving.
Yes.
Lars Nootbaar has a 109 OPS plus for his career. He's 2% better
Now
than Ichiro
he
Suzuki.
has played significantly less games, but yeah, sure, sure. Let's go ahead and throw that out. I'm not. I am not putting that out into the
It's
Facebook
what I didn't make a
sphere.
comment. It's true.
I know. I know. That's. I got into it one time about Dion at a bar. Charlie, Charlie Kelly, lifelong Mets fan, big fan of the Noble family. I put it out about Dion's like postseason batting, and the guy's like, and I got into an argument. I was like, all I could give you are the facts, and he thought it was like the funniest. I was like, I'm not making it up. All I can tell you is exactly what happened, and that's what happened. The guy
Yeah,
didn't know what to say.
what happened
Charlie was
so
dying
far
laughing.
in Lars Nootbaar's career is he has been 2% better offensively than Ichiro was.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, well, let's get out of here. Maybe there will be some movement on. Last thing I'll ask you, and then we'll get out of here. You think the Cardinals sign a bat at some point? I mean, I still think Harrison Bader's in play. I really, truly do.
Yeah, Harrison Bader, Austin Hayes, and Miguel Andujar, who I've heard that they are in on. Any of the three are fine and not exciting. Bader's the most exciting for sure.
Agreed. I like
Just
Austin Hayes. Actually, I don't mind Austin Hayes, to be honest with you, as a
he's just
guy.
like.
He is.
Can I ask you a question? What would be more valuable? Like, when is he going to play? I think Miguel Andujar makes the most sense because he can play the infield.
Yeah, I get that. I get that as well.
So, like, what are you going, like, how often is Austin Hayes going to play? Is he just going to play over Newbar every time there's a lefty in the mound? And
I
should
don't
you be
know.
doing that anyway?
Do you think those guys are much more? Are they more insurance policies for Victor Scott and Jordan Walker and Lars
But,
New? I mean, honestly, you could throw all three of them. You need an insurance policy
yeah, but
for.
if I'm Austin Hayes, I'm looking at the White
Yeah.
Sox and saying, can you give me 162 games of at-bats?
Or he's just looking to who's going to give him the most money.
Right, maybe that too. But also, like, if he's
So
playing a long game, he has a good year somewhere. Yeah.
yeah,
He's had an all-star year before.
especially with a system that is set up right now that is squeezing people like Austin Hayes out of the game.
Yeah, 107 OPS plus for Ichiro Suzuki. How's that a thing?
Oh, that's the
That's not the
bomb.
most.
That's the nuke of the day.
Also, the craziest part, he had a negative 47 with his last year with Miami.
Oh
Negative
my goodness.
47 OPS plus.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's get out.
Insane.
We
That's
there
crazy.
cannot be there can't be that kind of Ichiro hatred on here. Just so
I
you
don't hate
know.
him. He's a Hall of Famer. I have a bobblehead in my closet of him.
Last thing I said last thing twice, but this is it. Who are you picking to win today? And then let's get out of here.
I feel like we've done this already.
We might have. I don't remember. I have the
Also, I'm
Broncos and
glad you brought
Seahawks,
this up.
and I'm sticking to it.
Why did people say I was rooting for the Rams?
Yeah, I saw that too. Neither would did I. Like I've never, by the way, never not since they've left St. Louis have I rooted for the Rams,
Is
nor said I'm rooting for the. In
is
fact,
it
I was very specific in that I said I picked the Seahawks, and I'm sticking with it.
is it because I love Matthew Stafford?
Maybe, maybe.
I'm not going to apologize for that. I do love Matthew
Yeah,
Stafford.
same. I
Here's my
also
thing. Also, I've never been a Rams fan my entire life. I never was. Um, So, and I'm obviously heartbroken for the city that I think it's been terrible for St. Louis that they've lost a football team. Should have never happened. I don't think we've probably said that on here multiple times. It's insane that we don't have a football team in St. Louis. So that's obviously horrible. But I mean, I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to hate on players that have nothing to do with this. Like,
didn't love the shots at the Hawks you took right there. And two,
you don't hear my opinion
what I will
on
say
XFL.
is this, and I had this discussion with somebody the other day. There are a lot of players on the Rams team that I am a fan of. I'm a fan of Devontae Adams. I'm a fan of Matthew Stafford. I am a
Okay.
fan of Kyron Williams representing the 314. There are guys on that team that I do like, but I can't root for that uniform. Like I would love to buy a throwback St. Louis Rams Marshall Faulk jersey. I just don't know that I can bring myself to do it because not only did they screw me in St. Louis, they then came down here and with the Nolan no call and the worst call in NFL history, screwed me again. So I just don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I don't like the Rams by any
But I
means. but I
But
don't
back
hate
to
them
your
either.
original point, I don't believe either of us said we were Rams fans or that we were rooting for the Rams.
No, I was. I mean, I guess I was going a little hard on the Matthew Stafford train, but I do. That's fine. I do love Matthew Stafford. It's all
Yeah.
right. We can.
Anyway, who are you, who's your pick? What do you got?
This is Rams.
Bro, you want a Rams Patriots Super Bowl, don't you? And
I don't, but I
that's
think that's what's going to happen.
the fact that you are sitting in the 314 right now, or maybe you're in the are you in the 217 out there, the 636? I mean the 636?
I have no idea.
Okay, either way, the fact that you're sitting where you are sitting and you are potentially rooting for there
I
is like
didn't
a
say
shadow
rooting.
behind you right now. You might be haunted.
You asked me what I thought. What I
I know,
think is that
I
the Rams
know,
are going to win.
I know, I know. I
And
don't
what I
like that at
think
all.
is that the that Stidham is either going to be a god today or he's going to just be horrible.
They're either making a Disney movie or it'll be the worst thing we've ever
You know
seen.
what? Screw it. I think it's going to be Rams and Broncos.
Okay, all right, I can take that over the
I think
other, by
Sean
the way.
Payton. I've seen Sean Payton when we were Saints fans and Drew Brees would go down. I saw Taysom Hill go 7-1 as a quarterback. I saw Teddy Bridgewater go 4-0 in
Two
Drew Brees'
gloves.
absence. I've seen so many people. Jameis Winston have some good seasons under him. I think if Jarrett Stidham has any talent, which I believe he does, that he can at least make him passable enough to allow the Broncos defense to keep the game close.
Right, I agree. I have said all along if there's one guy who can have a guy ready, it's Sean Payton, like a quarterback.
Yeah,
So I
he's the
believe
quarterback
that.
whisperer.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's get out of here. If anything happens soon, we'll be back anyway this
Who do
week.
you think's winning, Broncos or Patriots? You didn't say.
I got the Broncos Seahawks, and I'm sticking with it.
Seahawks are going to be good. Go Devon Witherspoon. That is a guy I will root for. So
Yep, yeah, I like that whole team. So I'll be rooting. I'll be rooting for those two today as I eat my pho and sit in the warmth of my house.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Drink a couple Michelob Ultras or something. Who knows?
That's
See
the
where the day
weakest thing
takes
you've
me.
ever said right there, by the way.
They're in
The
my fridge.
weakest thing
I,
you've
I drink
ever
what I have.
said. All right, let's get out of here. We'll be back soon. Have a great week. Go Cards.